Kitco Mining special coverage of the Mining Investment Event of the North is brought to you by EMX Royalty Corp.
Tudor Gold is advancing what it calls the largest gold discovery in the past 30 years. Ken Konkin is president and CEO. Ken, welcome to Kitco.
Thank you so much. Great to see you again.
What is the Goldstorm deposit, Ken?
Well, essentially, it's the Goldstorm universe is expanding. It is a porphyry-style target made up of numerous domains. We have 4 principal domains, of which we're concentrating now on one specific central domain that contains about 65% of the resource of the 26 or 28, 8.7, almost 30 million ounces actually, because there's another 6 million ounces out there. But it is a copper, gold, silver domain that has pretty robust grades in it. So we think that's our path of success, is going after that one domain.
What's the work that's been up to date? And then I believe that you're working on a high-grade portion called the Supercell 1.
Yeah, that's a fairly well-guarded secret, that part. But definitely there's 3 aspects of our drill program going forward. A lot of people were questioning why we would be drilling, and I understand that. We don't need more ounces, but we need them higher grade, because every time we put out a resource, that resource grew greatly in its grade. It was starting at a 0.74, went to a 1.13. Now we're at 1.19 with a further 1.25 gold equivalent out there. So the idea is that we would convert a lot of that higher grade into the drill indicated category, and then put a curtain of drilling across the northeastern aspect, because that's the entry point for all the access. The worst thing you can do in the planet is to essentially put access through a supercell or high-grade component, which you've alluded to. That supercell discovery we made this Christmas by analyzing the core and structures, that we had 3 drill holes that fall into a plane of a really nice, clean breccia. Think of it as a storm or a nebula that has a sheet of high-energy lightning that goes through it. This is a late-stage gold event that happens as a micro breccia, but it's got significant width to it, between 10 to 25 meters, and the grades are varying between 10 grams to as high as 21 grams gold. So
let's step back, Ken. You're working in the Golden Triangle. What is the area? I mean, there's a lot of projects, a lot of interest in the region, and a lot of stuff is advancing up there.
Absolutely. I mean, clearly there's blood in the water, there's sharks. With the advancement of Newmont recognizing the geopolitical significance of a safe haven like British Columbia, we are an NDP government that has actually allowed the advancement of Red Chris, Brucejack. Skeena is advancing with their project. The new pouring of Dory at Ascot. Derek White's done an excellent job with that. So I think it's going to get more traction and more attention. So I think forefront, we need to get the story out. Our roadblock is a lot of people just don't simply know the Goldstorm story or the Tudor Gold, Treaty Creek story. So this is why I'm here to reinforce that we are going forward, but we're building out the resource to get the highest internal rate possible. The IRR numbers got to be solid. So if we concentrate on our best domains of, say, 10 to 12 years of production, that's a starting point, because you have to be realistic on something that's large.
Ken, you have long experience in the area.
Yeah, that's true. I started in the 80s. Back in the day, they used to name things after you or tag you with the discovery, because they didn't want to pay you a bonus or anything for discovery. But I spent all my young years as a geologist there, but of more recent times, spent 20 years with Bob Quartermain, Joe Ovsnick, Ken McNaughton, hunting the planet for big deposits. We landed on Brucejack Lake and Snowfields, drilled that off from 2006 to 2010, and then we started drilling at Brucejack Lake in 2009. We clipped into a very high-grade event. We didn't act on it. Didn't act on it. This is why lightning struck twice for me in the same area, because that event is very familiar to our parallel story of Supercell. So while we were looking for a large bulk tonnage target at Bruce Jack Lake. We hit 16 kilo, 17 kilo gold in an electrum zone that I later named Valley of the Kings. In 2010, I gave it the name Valley of the Kings. So we had great successes being Canada's third largest mine, the highest grade mine. A lot of people still don't even know that story. It's like a disconnect. So I think we've got to get the story out how potentially rich, as well as having a target where you can get big bulk tonnage targets. And one of the best analogies I can use is for 5 years running, from 2009 forward to 2013, we had the highest grade through bit grade ounces in the world. So what I used to say is to bat a perfect 1,000, you would have to get basically 1,000 grams over meter. Now, looking forward to what Goldstorm has done, it's done the inverse. We've gone 1,000 meters at a gram. Try that anywhere else on the planet. That's pretty tough to do. However, we have tripped into a high-grade event. So this supercell is going to be very important. It's an economic arsenal we add to the project. It's going to be hopefully a lower capex. We're looking at the high-grade components to see if we can blend them in. So we start from the outside-in approach. And this season has got 2 rigs currently running, designed to expose exactly that.
Ken, how's community support?
We do what we can in the area. What we do is my mantra is we have to have purchasing from local communities, education programs from local communities. So what we wind up doing is, before the season start, we go to the First Nations career nights for the kids. They have their ideas of what they want to be when they grow up. So what we do is we show up with our Tudor team, our best geologist and best geotechnician, and the day after we host a workshop. So we invite up to 20 kids or adults that want to learn everything about becoming a geotechnician. So this is all about rock quality density. This is about the QA, QC, inserting standards, blanks. And we give a 2-day seminar with that workshop, including how to cut core. A lot of people cut core from the top down. We go bottom backwards, so you never screw up and miss that tag and have a bit of a Matterhorn incident with overrunning the sample. So when geologists see these kids that are coming out trained like this, they're going to be impressed because they've done it correctly. So we've taught them how to be really good geotechnicians, and it's been received extremely well. In Dees Lake, we've gone to New Hazelton, and we'd like to go to Ianch as well. So all the 3 Taltan, Skikal-Maka, and Nishka territories.
How's the infrastructure up there?
It's absolutely, people say we're so far north. It's not. We're closer. We are further north than Bruce Jack, but we're only a 20-kilometer connection to the Seabridge Road now by road. The Northwest Transmission Power Line is there. It was built for Seabridge in part and part for Galore. They never took the power. There's a 30% discount right now for that power. It's the cheapest hydroelectric power in North America. That line runs just on the connection to the Seabridge Road at Highway 37. We're seeing that Seabridge would like to bring the infrastructure in on their advancement for their critical construction portion to get their indefinite EA. So we support that. We want to see that project go forward. We're fans of any mining activity in our area because it just brings a plug-and-play aspect to it, because all the seaports are there, the container shipments are there. You can bring in odd-sized things like sag mills, things like that. We're all ready to receive, so we don't have to pay for these infrastructure items. They exist. It's fortunate. It's all fortunate.
Are you funded?
Absolutely. Last year, Chris Kern and I went to Frankfurt, London, New York, and Toronto, and we came up with $5 million of flow through that we wanted for the exploration, but also $5 million of hard dollars. We did this non-brokered. We've never had an issue financing this thing. We've actually said no to money. People see this as a very viable, strong project. It's just a matter we're caught up in this landslide of sideways downhill trends, and I think there's a point that's a tipping point. We're at the bottom. I hope that we're at the 5-year low, and that investors see the opportunity to come in for under $1 to pick up something that we hope is going to be a spectacular mine.
Lastly, milestones over the next 12 months.
Milestones of 12 months, clearly finish off the drilling, have a good look at what we've got, do the scoping required to get us to a PEA, and we want to do a good quality PEA, and that's the problem, is people look at PEAs as being, well, you know, what it might be. We don't want that. We want something that's going to have sustenance to where we put more engineering at that phase and kind of a watered down kind of a pre-fees aspect, because the idea is you don't want to unring that bell. You don't want to back up and, you know, overpromise things you can't commit to. So we've invoked some of the best engineers in Vancouver to work on the project with us, to do site selection, tailings, things like that. So going forward, we've done all of our baseline studies required to get us to the PEA. It's just a matter of coming out with that metrics of the economics, what everybody's waiting for, to bring in a new level investor. And I think everybody's waiting to see that now. So are we. I think it'll be a good exercise to go through this to see what is required of the deposit. And the one takeaway I want to give your listeners and viewers is this deposit has the ability to be what it needs to be, because it's not just taking the global aspect of the resource. It's you can size it down, you can trim it off and increase the grade. If you want to have a good look at the corporate presentation, you should have a look at 1 gram cutoff does. So we've gone from a half gram, or from a 0.3, 0.5 to a 0.75 cutoff for underground. And now what we're looking at is if you look at 1 gram, you're still not losing many ounces. You're still almost at 20 million ounces. So that's the impressive part about this project, but you're getting closer to 1.4 now. So 1.37 would be basically the overall grade of that, with another 1.43 out there as inferred. So if we put that into the drill indicated category, I think we'll have a good, robust basis to start a very competent PEA.
Ken, thanks for your time.
Pleasure. Always great to see you.
My name is Michael McRae here at the Mining Investment Event of the North for Kitco Mining.
Kitco Mining special coverage of the Mining Investment Event of the North is brought to you by EMX Royalty Corp.